upon a time, there was a little girl who lived in a village near the forest. Whenever she went out, the little girl wore a red riding cloak, so everyone in the village called her Little Red Riding Hood. One morning, Little Red Riding Hood asked her mother if she could visit her grandmother.
Can I visit Grandma? That's a good idea.
So they packed a nice basket for Little Red Riding Hood to take to her grandmother. When the basket was ready, the little girl kissed her mother goodbye, and her mother said,
Remember, go straight to Grandma's house and do not talk to any strangers. Don't worry, Mommy. I won't talk to any strangers. I'll go straight to Grandma's house. I'll be careful. Bye.
But when Little Red Riding Hood noticed some lovely flowers in the woods, she forgot her promise to her mother. She picked a few and then picked some more. Little Red Riding Hood was enjoying the warm summer days so much, she didn't notice a dark shadow approaching her.
Bigger steps.
Suddenly, the wolf appeared beside her. And the wolf said, "What are you doing out here, little girl?"
What are you doing I'm on my way to my grandmother's house who lives in the forest.
The wolf, in the meantime, took a shortcut. The wolf, a little out of breath from running, arrived at Grandma's house and knocked at the door. And the grandma said,
Oh, thank goodness you're here. I was sick, worried about you.
The wolf let himself in. Poor Granny did not have time to say another word before the wolf gobbled her up.
Let's go back to home. Let's do it.
A few minutes later, Little Red Riding Hood knocked on the door. And the wolf pulled the covers up and said, "Who is it?"
Who is it? It's Little Red Riding Hood.
And the wolf said, "Do come in, my dear." When Little Red Riding Hood entered the little cottage, she could scarcely recognize her grandmother.
What?
She said, "Your voice sounds so odd, grandmother."
Your voice sounds so odd, grandmother.
And the wolf said, "Oh, I have a touch of a cold."
Why, grandmother, what big ears you have.
And the wolf said, "The better to hear you with, my dear."
What big eyes you have.
And the wolf said, "The better to see you with, my dear."
Grandmother, what big teeth you have.
And the wolf said, "The better to eat you with, my dear." And he leapt out of bed and began to chase the little girl. Almost too late, Little Red Riding Hood realized that the person in the bed was not her grandmother, but a hungry wolf. She ran across the room and through the door shouting, "Help! Wolf!" as loudly as she could. A woodsman nearby was chopping logs and heard her cry and ran towards the cottage as fast as he could. He grabbed the wolf and made him spit out the poor grandmother, who was a bit frazzled by the whole experience, but still in one piece. please.
Oh, Grandma, I missed you so much. I was so scared. I will never speak to strangers ever, 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 ever again.
And Grandma said,
There, my dear. You learned an important lesson.
and Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother had a nice long chat.
The